Hey y'all, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Fork Over the Ring, where we all know the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. And today I'm going to show you guys how to make my banana nut bread with chocolate chips and some sweet potato bread. That was an experiment, and y'all, it was so good. So to preference this video, we are going to talk it out here, but I am going to list all ingredients and measurements below because I've been drinking wine and I might mess it up right here. Just being honest. So to get started, we are going to start off with some bananas. Because my bananas are pretty small, I use 4 full ripe bananas. I like banana nut bread because it's really a throw together bread. I believe like the sweet potato bread, banana nut bread, these are like dessert style or breakfast style breads. I also go ahead and I add my eggs in at room temperature. A trick for your eggs, if they are cold, go ahead and put them in a thing of warm water for about a minute or so, and they'll become room temperature with no problem. Not hot water because you don't want to boil them. In my recipe, I like to use a mixture of both white sugar and brown sugar. Because you know the brown sugar is brown like me, but I just think it gives it like a different little flavor. I don't know. I just when I bake, I typically prefer to use brown sugar in recipes, and if I do use white sugar, I just mix them in together. I also use cooking oil in this. So I use some vegetable oil. You can use canola if that's what you have on hand. This is really, like I said, a throw together dish. But I use vegetable oil instead of butter in this bread because it makes it a lot more moist, and it doesn't make it so that it's like stiff. Because when you make breads or anything baked, really, breads, brownies, cakes, sometimes butter, although we like the flavor of butter, it can be really like dry, and you don't want no dry bread. And then when it comes to our flour, I add my flour in 1/4 cup at a time. Let me be real with y'all, I only add it in 1/4 cup at a time because the container that I use, I can only fit the 1/4 cup head in. Outside of that, I would at least be doing like half of it at a time. And because I don't pre-measure out my ingredients, that's the problem we kind of come across. You know, players get caught up sometimes, and I do what I want to do. I'm kind of lazy. As you can see, this is not the neatest thing to cook. You do not have to use a stand mixer. I just have a cute one, so I use it because I begged my granddaddy for it like 3 years ago. You can mix this up by hand. If you look at it, although this video is sped up, I am mixing it on the lowest speed because you do not want to over mix it. I did speed it up just right there just to get the sides down, but this is something that you mix on the lowest speed. Once I mixed it all together, I went through and I added both baking soda and baking powder just to make sure my bread or my dough got the perfect rise that I was looking for. And after you add that, I also go through and I add just a tad bit of salt to give it a little taste. Another trick that I use when I am baking, and I do use butter for the recipes, I use salted butter. Most people don't use salted butter, but when I'm using oil, I do have to add salt. I literally add a pinch because it is really easy to make your stuff too salty. And don't nobody want no salty A food. Like, it's totally unnecessary. So, yep, add those little ingredients in. Then you're going to mix it on up again. And I'm using pink Himalayan salt. Then after we are done with our mixing of all the main ingredients, then this is the part that's completely optional. You can stop here. You can be done here. I actually prefer chocolate chips. So I have some really chunky chocolate chips here that I was going to use for some cookies. But I opted not to. So I threw it in there. And if you look at it, see some of them are a little melted. That's because I actually, like a dummy, put the bag by the stove so they started to melt on the inside. But after I add my chocolate chip, I add my nuts. These are chopped walnuts I'm going to add in. You'll see in a second. Like I said, this is optional. So because it's optional, you can choose to replace it with whatever you want. I had walnuts on hand, so that's what I use. You can use almonds. If you want to switch it up and put fruit in it, you can actually put like blueberries in it. That'll be really good. It'll be a play on like a blueberry muffin. I am going to put this in a bread tin later. You'll see, but you can always put it in whatever you want. Muffin tin. It'll rise perfectly each time. So, you're going to go ahead and add it. You don't need your mixer anymore for this because you don't want the nuts and the chocolate stuck inside. Mix it all together. And yeah, bam. That's basically going to be it. Just make sure you get everything mixed in nice and evenly. And like if you look at it, it'll be a little thick. So that's perfect because, again, it is bananas in there. Banana chunks are totally fine. You want this to be kind of chunky. You don't really want it to be super thick. And then you taste your spatula and it's going to be good every time because I'm not a liar. Now to the sweet potato bread. Like I said, this is an experiment. So I literally use the exact same recipe. Do not change it. The only thing I did was, instead of using 4 bananas, I had 1 large sweet potato. I cut it up in chunks. I boiled it. And then I just started to peel it as I threw it in the bowl. I let them cool off first. And then I literally peeled the piece of skin off as I threw it in the bowl. This was so good. You can do it with pumpkins too. But again, it is the exact same recipe as the banana nut bread. It is the exact... Oh, sorry, I lied. I did add cinnamon to this, but I did not add banana nut bread. But outside of that, it is it. No chocolate, no walnuts. But you can add those if you choose. I'm not good at putting the parchment paper in the pans. So my method is to just hold it in there, pour it in, let the weight of whatever you're cooking force it to the sides. And my method works for me. Like I said before in many videos, I'm not a professional. Neither was your bald-headed grandma. Like, I'm really just trying to show you how to make the recipes that she never knew how to make. Or that she just never shared with you because she was selfish. I am here to fill in where Granny, didn't really mess with you like that. She ain't bang with you. But it's cool. And don't judge my dirty counter. Y'all just saw me mix everything up together. So I don't want to see any smart comments in the remarks. And then for the chocolate one, or the banana one, I went through and I just added whatever chocolate chips I could. Remember, guys, I did melt it on the stove like an idiot. So I had to go through and just kind of break it up and make it work. But that way the chocolate is a little bit on top when you are done baking. I put these in the oven. I let them cook. And when they come out, y'all, this is the sweet potato one. Please acknowledge that I did try to plate them cute for y'all. And I actually eat my sweet potato one with Nutella. So that's what you see me about to spread on it. And then this is the one for my banana nut bread. Y'all, again, these are really easy recipes. And you cannot screw them up. So, per usual, thanks for watching. And remember, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next video.